What is going on, guys? So today we're going to be doing a complete mock assembly of the manual transmission system for the manual swap. On the ground there I have basically all the parts for the manual swap just strewn out. We're going to assemble the entire thing outside of the car, and this is going to do a lot of good. I'm going to get to show you guys how everything goes together outside of the car, so we won't have to worry about camera angles trying to get the slave cylinder in because it's really close to the firewall, so I can get a better shot of putting the manual swap together outside of the car. I can explain to you guys how some things need to go together and how to make sure it all goes together right. Aside from that, I do highly recommend you do this with your own swap before you put the parts in the car and start ripping the car apart, simply because you can figure out how the whole thing goes together, and it'll make it a lot easier when you're doing the swap in the car. Have a good idea of how every single part is supposed to come together to make the swap happen. Aside from that, you can make sure you have everything you need, all the hardware, all the parts, and you can make sure every single one of them fits together. So for instance, if you bought the clutch line, if you bought the wrong clutch line, it doesn't fit, you're gonna know right now before you even start ripping the car apart, oh, I need this clutch line, I bought the wrong one. So now you can climb into your car, go drive it to get the clutch line, and come back. If you found that out when you were doing the actual manual swap, you can't go hop in your car because your car's in a bunch of pieces and you don't have a clutch line to make it run. So this is going to do a lot of good for a lot of reasons. And before we get started actually putting the swap together, I'm going to show you guys a couple things, how they should go together, how some certain components go together. Some of these will get installed incorrectly, and it does have a lot of issues, along with just some techniques to basically put the whole thing together and make it go easier. So before we get started, I wanted to let you guys know that this bolt is having a really bad life. It's starting to round, so I wasn't able to take the drive shaft off of the transmission. So for the duration of the entire swap series, it's just going to stay on the transmission. That being said, the drive shaft has 3 bolts that hold it onto the transmission, there, and there. And the flex disc also has 3, one there, and one there. And so basically the bolt just goes through, nut goes on the back. Tighten that guy down from both sides, and then it'll be set in stone. It'll be good to go. So basically just keep that in mind, that this is not going to come off because it's starting to round. I could go and chase it and get another bolt, but it needs to be on eventually, so I'm just going to leave it on. So basically just make sure you have all the bolts that hold the flex disc and the drive shaft onto the transmission for that system, and you'll be good to go. Aside from that, we're going to want to make sure that our center support bearing is good. Make sure that the rubber inside here is not cracked or torn in any way, and that the bearing doesn't have any play in it. If you can feel a good amount of play in the bearing up and down or side to side, I would recommend getting a new one. And at the back here we do have the hardware that's going to hold the drive shaft onto the differential. That being said, you can use your old bolts from the automatic. So moving on, we do have our slave cylinder here. This guy's basically going to poke through on the back of the transmission, back in there, and just sort of hang out. So this end is actually going to go plug in on this little section on the back of the clutch fork. So you're going to want to make sure that that guy is sort of chilling in there nice, and it's a little bit hard when the transmission's on to make sure. Sometimes these will get installed and it might get like jacked up to the side like that, and if you don't have any clutch feeling or clutch doesn't seem to be working right, it might be this guy not be sitting perfectly in its little spot. So just something to keep in mind when you're installing the slave cylinder. Try and get it on perfectly straight so it just sits right in there. If you try and go up at an angle, you might miss it. So now basically we're going to start assembling the internal transmission. So it's got the clutch fork here, and because I'm going to install this now and I'm not going to pull it apart, I'm actually going to put some grease on it just to make sure everything slides perfectly smooth. So we have this little clip here, and this is going to hold the clutch fork on the back of the transmission. So I'm going to put a little grease right on that guy. I'm going to put a little bit on the spring, and then the clutch fork is going to sort of slip underneath it, and then the spring will sort of hold that guy in place. Now I'm going to take a little bit of grease and grease it on the inside here on both sides, and we're going to put a little bit on the back here where the slave cylinder hits it, just to make sure that it doesn't squeak or make any noise when we're pushing on the clutch. So if you'll look inside the transmission, you'll see this nice little hole here. So that actual little stud is going to go sit in that hole and hold the clutch fork in place. So we're going to slide that guy in, and we're going to pop that into its little hole there, and that guy can just sort of hang out. From here we're going to take our brand new throwout bearing and put some grease on the top of that guy and on the inside here, just a little bit. Grease on the edges here, grease on the inside. We're going to slide that guy, and the flat part of the throwout bearing is going to sit sort of right in the center to keep that guy taut in place like that. So basically whenever you push on the clutch, slave cylinder pushes this forward and it'll push the throwout bearing on the actual clutch itself. Alright, so now that that's all on, we're going to go over the actual clutch disc a little bit. If you'll notice on the input transmission shaft, it is splined. Now on the actual clutch disc itself, it does have these splines on the inner side. When you're putting the clutch disc on, this is going to be like macked between the flywheel and the clutch disc. So this isn't going to actually rotate. So it's not going to go on unless it's clocked properly, and then it'll go on. So you basically have to line the splines up, and with this being stationary you can't really do that. So what you can do, you're going to want to leave it in gear, and when it's in gear, if you rotate the flex disc on the back, it'll actually spin the input shaft, right? When this is stationary, as you're pushing the transmission on, you're going to want to rotate the back disc to get it clocked to where the clutch disc will slide on. Otherwise you're going to be pushing it, and because the splines aren't lined up, it's not going to want to go on. Alright, so onto the flywheel. We do have the actual flywheel bolts. I got all 8 of them right here. Now something to notice, if you get an aftermarket flywheel, you will have different bolts. This single mass flywheel has a lot shorter bolts than an OE flywheel, so just keep that in mind if you're getting an aftermarket flywheel to get the proper bolts with it. Most of them come with it if you buy it new, but if you're getting an aftermarket one that's used, I would try and see if you can score the proper bolts for it. Now for the clutch disc, this is an OEM M3 SAS clutch disc, and it has the transmission side here and the motor side there, so we're going to put that on properly. Aftermarket clutches it really depends. Some of them will tell you which way they go, some of them won't. And then our pressure plate is going to go on, and keep in mind most of them have these little dowel pins aside from the actual bolt holes itself, so you sort of have to line up the pins and then it'll just sort of pop in. And then you got the actual clutch hardware. These little guys will hold the clutch onto the flywheel, so we're just going to thread them on by hand for now. And then this whole clutch flywheel combo is going to sit inside there on the car, so you don't have to worry about putting that on right now. That's basically just to make sure that you have all your nuts and bolts to hold the clutch system together. We are though going to put our pilot bearing on the end of the transmission, just like that, just to make sure that guy goes, and that's where that guy is actually going to sit. So the inner side of it's going to sit on the transmission there, and the outer side of this is going to sit on the crankshaft, just to make sure that this input shaft doesn't wiggle too much. This pilot bearing will hold it in place. Now moving on, we do have our transmission cross member and our new transmission mounts. So one thing to note here is I do have hardware for it. That being said, you can use your old hardware, nuts and bolts, from the automatic transmission, and you actually can reuse the engine mounts. The engine mounts are the same, but the cross member is different. So the mounts have a little notch here, and that's going to match up to the notch on that. So just make sure those guys are sitting in properly, and the nut is going to go on the bottom of that, and the same goes for the other side. Get our washer and our nut. And the mounts have another little guide dowel on them for the actual transmission. Are going to sit sort of on the transmission in that little hole there, just to get them lined up perfectly. And then that's going to hold the transmission up in the car. Now as far as these bolts go, we will be reusing these off of the automatic transmission. They have little bolts that go through here into the actual chassis. Those are in the car currently with the automatic transmission, so we're not going to worry about them right now. That's the whole crossmember and bushing setup. Up next we have the whole shifter assembly. Now I do have a double shear selector rod that I'm putting on, so we're going to throw that guy on. This did come with the pins and the clips and some little washers. Put the washers and the clips on when we actually install it, but just to hold it in place I'm just going to use the little pins for now. We got our shifter, selector rod goes on, and on the OEM selector rod it does have the pins on it. All it has is a little clip on. So that'll slide through there and you'll put the little clip on there, and the same thing on the actual shifter end itself. So now the selector rod goes over back of the transmission shifter. That goes on, and this little end goes through there, and then we have a clip on the end of it that will hold it onto the transmission when we push that down, but we're going to leave it up for now just to hold it in place. we have the shift carrier bushing. This guy's actually going to go up into the chassis itself to hold the shifter in, and that guy's going to slide over the end of that. And basically that's it. So that's the whole shifter. You'd have your rubber shift boot on, your leather shift boot would go on top, and your shifter would go on top of that. And that's the whole shift system. You sit here and bang gears all day. So now moving on, we have our new slave cylinder. Now we have this little tiny little hard line that goes on. So this end, the end that's not attached, the retainer, is going to screw in to the new slave cylinder. So that guy screws in. From here we have the soft clutch line. I'm actually using a stainless line, and that guy is going to thread in to that little soft line there, just like that. Now on the side of the transmission here on the driver's side, we have these two little nuts that are going to come off, and the slave setup is going to slide over these two little pins, and this retainer is going to slide over the lower one like that, and then our nuts go on, and that will hold the slave cylinder in place. And from here we're going to take our hard clutch line. This one runs up to the pedal assembly, and the little side with the threads on it is going to thread into the soft clutch line. That'll hang out like that, and from here that guy is going to pop in on the pedal assembly. Here we have our whole pedal system. This line runs up to the brake reservoir, and this guy has a little clip inside of here, but because we're just going to take it out, I'm not going to put the clip in. This guy basically just sort of pops in there, and then the clip will hold that into place. And on the other side here we have this little fitting. That's actually the wire for the reverse lights. So if you have that, pop that guy up and the wires are going to run all the way up. And as far as the manual transmission system goes, that's it. So I do have all the parts I need. All the parts fit properly. Now I got the clutch and flywheel down there. Those would be inside the transmission on the engine, but I'm not going to set it in there for now. But that's basically it. So the whole pedal assembly system, I have a separate video on installing that and putting that whole thing together. Be sure to check that out. Highly recommend you guys do this with your swap just to make sure that you do have everything you need. The last thing you want to do is figure out something doesn't work when you're actually doing the swap. This is an excellent way to make sure that all of your hardware is here, everything you need. The bolts for the center support bearing down there, actually we're going to be reusing those. The transmission crossmember bolts, we will be reusing those, and the bolts that hold the pedal assembly in, those are already in the car. So hardware like that, we're not going to worry about having it on hand right now because it is in the car. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep it fresh, and I will see you guys later.